All right, guys, I want to share some thoughts on the whole Lindsey Vonn situation. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to talk about her rehab. I'm not going to talk about her training. What I've learned about this stuff as a physiotherapist, a coach for the last 8 years is that there's so much nuance that goes into these programs and rehab that I have no way to comment on any of that stuff. But I think there is a learning lesson in this whole situation and something that I really try to educate my clients on. And that is the idea of the risk to reward ratio. In every injury or every situation, there is always going to be a risk, and then there's going to be a reward of whether or not you participate in the event, the game, the race, whatever it is. And it's up to you and your therapist, your coach, whoever's in your corner, to evaluate the risk reward. If the risk of you participating is really, really high, and the reward of said activity or race is low and it's not that important, then it's an easy decision. You probably shouldn't put yourself in the position to continue. Now, if the risk is high, but the reward is very high, such as the situation as Lindsey Vonn, then you might actually decide to go ahead and do it. But there's only going to be one person that's really going to decide that, and that's going to be you. As a coach, as a physiotherapist, it's my job to be as honest as I possibly can with the people that I'm working with, lay it all out for them, talk about this risk reward ratio, and then in the end, allow them to decide what they want to do. And I think in this situation, I am not Lindsey Vonn. I will never be Lindsey Vonn. I will never be put in that position to make that decision. But I could imagine she weighed all the risk and all the reward. And listen, by no means was I even close to an athlete that Lindsey Vonn was. But as a former athlete who used to play sports, I can relate to this decision. And to be honest, if I was her, I would have probably really thought about participating and going ahead with it. Regardless of that, there's a lesson here where there's always a risk-reward ratio to everything. And you have to make that decision for yourself. And I have all the respect in the world for Lindsey, for her going forward and doing that, because that was a decision that, as a professional athlete, she spent a lot of time making that choice. So if you're going forward with an injury, think about this risk reward ratio. If you're working with a coach or a physiotherapist, they should be discussing these things with you and helping you, guide you to make the best decision for you. But in the end, it's always on you.